Just a couple more tips on some of these M8 parts that you should replace if you're putting a cam in or diving into the motor, whether you're doing just a bolt-in cam or doing a complete crankshaft. I've got a crankshaft here on the bench. I just want to show you guys a couple parts that we always replace, always check, double check a lot of stuff on these. This is your pinion side on the crankshaft. This is all factory M8, factory sprocket gear, and you can see how much slop that guy has. Anytime we pull these apart, we always replace them with these fueling. You can see I got a bunch of them here. We keep them in stock. These fueling drive sprockets for the pinion, these have a much tighter fit on that snout of that crank. I'm not going to press it all the way on. Usually you have to use a hammer or use the bolt to draw it in because it's such a tight fit, but I've got it started on there and you can't even move that. That's not going anywhere. And the difference being between that and the factory one is these factory ones, when you go to put your cam on and you tighten that bolt, it's going to ramp it one way or the other way and potentially have that timing be off just a little bit. So it's always a good idea to replace that crankshaft sprocket. Another item we're going to address is I've got a factory lifter on the left here and a fueling lifter on the right. We've had lots of problems we've been seeing with these. I'm going to zoom in on this on the roller specifically. You can actually see that the chrome is actually delaminated off of the face of that roller. That's no good. That's just going to chew up the cam. So anytime you're especially putting a cam in, always replace with the new set of lifters. And one other item we're going to touch on is these lifter cuffs. The notorious bolt that snaps off, we've had to fix a fair amount of them from guys trying to do them themselves. We always recommend heating up that Loctite. You end up ruining the lifter. They get a little charred, but it beats having to drill into the case or completely disassemble the motor to machine that bolt out of there. And what we're replacing those with is a set of lifter cuffs. You can see these are aluminum, a lot more stout. I mean, these are just plastic, so potentially you're getting some of those higher lift cams. You're putting a lot more strain on that lifter, that valve train, for potentially cracking these factory lifter cuffs. And these require a little bit of skill set to set them up correctly, because again, you don't want to tighten the bolt and have these things force on the lifter one way or the other way. Always using feeler gauges to set up the clearance. There's instructions with these, but just a few more tips on some of these M8s just to show you what we're replacing, what we like. These are from S&S. I've got cam sprockets, fueling makes these guys, and lifters. We've used a lot of fueling lifters, had very good luck with them. And another thing to point out real quick too is this is their, what is this one? This is their HP Plus lifter, which, as you can see, the body of the lifter looks similar to the factory one. It goes around the entire roller. When you start changing some of these cams and getting into the bigger camshafts, we always replace, instead of using these ones, we'll use the race lifters, which the difference of those, I'll have to show those in another video. The body of the lifter is actually farther down, so that wheel is more exposed. So when you're traveling, that lifter's traveling over that cam lobe, it's not going to dive into the face of that valve lobe, cam lobe, excuse me, which could really, you could really run into some serious issues if that happens. But again, that's a little bit more specific. If you're just doing a bolt-in cam, set of HP Plus lifters will do you fine. So, thanks for checking out.